right. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jesse, and I am with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. For those joining us for the first time, we are all about bringing conservation, adventure, and science into classrooms around the world. And we are really excited today, because today is Halloween, which is exciting in its own right. It is also the end of October in our biggest month ever. So if you've been joining us all month, by today, we have done over 65 sessions with amazing researchers, scientists, engineers, and groups like the Toucan Rescue Ranch from around the world. So thank you so much for being part of our biggest month ever. Right now, we've got 7 super excited classes from across North America. So I want to give them a chance to do a bit of a shout out before we dive in. We've got Miss Bendo's grade 3s in Guelph in Ontario. Hi, guys. Hi. We've got Miss Smith Bischoff's grade 3s in Newcastle, Ontario. Hi, guys. Hi. Hey, a lot of Harry Potter fans in the front row. We've got Miss McInnes's grade 4s in Cumberland Center in Maine. Let me just pull them up. Hi, guys. Hey, there's so many of you. Wow, we got like the whole town. That's awesome. We've got Miss Olorvides grade 4s in San Antonio in Texas. Hi, guys. Hey, nice couch. I love it. Wish I had a couch like that in my class when I was your age. We have Miss Whipple's grade 4s in Cape Elizabeth in Maine. Hey, guys. Awesome. And we've got Miss Teason's grade 3-4s in Surrey in BC. Hey! Wow, bumblebee teachers and everything. I love it. All right, and last but not least, we've got Miss Damianakos' grade 3s in Ottawa, Ontario. Of course, the reason you guys are all here today and joining us is for our speakers. So we are joined live by Javier at the Toucan Rescue Ranch in Costa Rica. So for over 15 years now, they have been rescuing, rehabilitating, and re-releasing amazing animals in the Costa Rican rainforest. They specialize in sloths, toucans, and owls, but they work with all manner of amazing creatures. But today, we are going to learn a little bit about the amazing world of sloths, one of the slowest and certainly one of the coolest animals in the world. Without further ado, thank you so much for joining us, Javier, and take it away.
Hello, everybody. Well, welcome to the Toucan Rescue Ranch. This is a rescue center located in Costa Rica. As you told us, we are specialized in 3 different animals: toucans, owls, and also, obviously, sloths, okay? So our main objective always is rehabilitate the animal that we receive, animals in need only. And always when it's possible, we try to release them into the wild in the proper habitats. So we model focuses on conservation, education, and also in research. It's a really cool program. We work together with the Sloth Institute. We do some scientific research together. For example, we use radio collars in all the sloths that we release. In that way, we can track them and we can know if they're doing well the things once we release them. Okay. So some history about this Toucan Rescue Ranch that was founded in 2004 by Leslie Hall. Well, interesting because at the beginning we were specialized only in toucans. So we receive a lot of those animals, different cases. But well, in 2007, everything changed, okay? Because Leslie and Jorge, her husband, decided to receive the first non-bear animal in this rescue center. And well, they received Millie, the first 2-fingered sloth here in this center. She arrived as a little orphan baby, and well, basically after her, everything changed here because we started receiving any kind of wild animal native from Costa Rica. So nowadays, basically, we receive any wild animal from Costa Rica, and as I told you at the beginning, we only receive animals in need. We're rehabilitating, and always when it's possible, we release them. We have a couple of breeding programs in this center, especially with toucans and also with owls, which is really cool because, well, we have, for example, 5 of the 6 different species of owls that occurs in Costa Rica. Sorry, toucans that occurs in Costa Rica. And well, sometimes some of the animals that we receive cannot be released and could be for 2 different reasons. Could be because they're handicapped, or also could be because they don't present the proper behavior. Sometimes because they were pets. Okay, but we release all the chicks. So that's a compensation that we have with nature. And we do exactly the same with owls. So in that way, we can maintain the population number of these animals, and that's really cool. That's pure conservation. That is the most important that we can do nowadays in our home, the planet Earth. We also have a release site that is located in Sarapiquí. Sarapiquí is in the Caribbean side of the country. It's a beautiful place. By the way, it's next to the biggest national park that occurs in Costa Rica, the Braulio Carrillo National Park. And over there, we release a lot of animals that we rescue here, okay? Over there, we also work together with the Sloth Institute in the program that I told you some minutes ago, scientific research. So remember that we use radio collars in these animals, and we have a specific team that has to go every night to the jungle and track the animal for the whole night, each one for about 5 to 6 months. And that's in order to see if they're doing well the things in the wild. They have to check all the behavior, if they're eating, fighting, breeding, or sleeping, or just sleeping as a sloth. Let me move from here. So here you can see some two-fingered sloths. Remember that there are 6 different species of these animals. But well, in Costa Rica, we only have 2 of them. We have the two-fingered sloths, these ones, scientific name Coleopus hoffmanni, and we also have 3-fingered sloths, scientific name Bradypus variegatus. But well, nowadays in this rescue center, we only have these ones, the two-fingered sloths. Fortunately, in Costa Rica, you can find sloths all over the country, from the sea level to the highest mountains. And so we're very lucky because we can see these animals all over this beautiful country. Two-fingered sloths are mostly nocturnal animals, especially when they are adults. And three fingers are mostly diurnal animals. Okay, there are some differences. They are related, but they belong to different families. So they present some difference between them. Okay, for example, the diet. Two-fingered sloths have to eat protein, especially from eggs, bird eggs. Okay, but they also can eat fruits, they can eat insects, but they prefer to eat just leaf. For example, look at this one over here. Okay, so we have these animals here. They are not related. They are rescue animals. They are between 15 to 16 months old. And they are here because they are orphan babies. We receive a lot of orphans for different reasons, like car accidents, dog attacks, electrocution, pet trade, or just because the mother abandoned one of the babies. That is not usual, but sometimes they have well, the mom could have like twins, and when that happens, the mom could reject one of the babies. Most of the times, they only have one baby per time. Apart from that, well, these animals never go to the ground. They are specialized, they are adapted to live in the trees, and mainly in the canopy. They only go to the base of the trunk when they have to poo or pee. And when they're adults, basically, pretty much, they go just once a week or twice a month, not more than that. It's really interesting. And actually, some biologists and scientists nowadays doesn't know why they have to go to the base of the trunk, but they have some theories. The main theory is that they have to go to the base of the trunk, to the ground, to poo and pee, because when they are adults, some insects live in their fur, especially beetles and moths. So those insects gonna use the poo to complete the life cycles, and then they can go to the fur of these animals. So it's a symbiotic relationship that they have, not only between insects and sloths, but also with an algae, and a specific algae that only occurs in the tropical rainforest. Okay, so here we have a program, a specific program with these animals. Um, I told you a few about these, but well, they have to spend here for about 2 years. That's the normal time that they spend with the month. Actually, the first 4 or 5 months, they stay clinging on the mother, and then they have to move together onto the second year. And when that happens, they just separate each other. They are completely solitary animals. They never get together. So at this stage, here you can see that all of them are together because they are juveniles. So they replace the space of the mother with another slot, but with the time they're gonna be solitary. They're gonna start to fight each other. And once we release them, they're gonna go by their own way. They only get together when they have to breed. And apart from that, never. Completely solitary animals. Another thing that is really interesting with these animals is that their closest relatives are armadillos and also anteaters. Really interesting, and they are related, especially because they have a specific bone and a specific vertebrae in the neck. Actually, the order that they belong is called Sinatra, just because that's the name of that bone. So that allows them to roll up, that allows them to turn the head 180 degrees, and also that allows them to live in the trees. We also have these tiny babies right here. Look at them, these ones also are two-fingered sloths. Apart from the fingers, the main difference that you can see between 2 and 3 fingered sloths is the face structure. Look at this, for example. 2 fingered sloths have like a piggy nose, a piggy face, and 3 fingered sloths have the typical smiling face. These animals don't have a good vision, they don't have a good hearing, but they have an excellent sense of smell. So pretty much they communicate each other just by smells. Actually, in the breeding season, the female call the male by a specific smell, by pheromones. So the male can find the female and then they can breed. By the way, it's a long gestation period. 2 fingered sloths is about 11 to 12 months. And remember, as I told you, then the baby has to spend about 2 years with the mother. It's a long time. That's why usually they only have one baby per time. Otherwise, could be a lot of work just for the mom. So the cool thing about all this is that this baby is gonna be released. We don't keep any of these animals. We only rehabilitate them, and then we release them into the rainforest again.
So quickly, Javier, when do you get a chance to release them to the rainforest? How old are they when you release them back?
Yeah, well, most of them have to be at least 2 years old because that's the age that they get the adult life. So if we release them before than that, won't be a good idea because they won't know the proper behaviors that they're gonna need in the jungle. So they have to be adults, and that's when they are 2 years old.
Okay. And how many babies do you have right now total? Just these two, or are there more?
No, actually, we have more right now. We have like 8 babies, plus these ones that I showed you at the beginning. These ones are juveniles, not properly babies. And actually, these ones are the next group that we're gonna release into the wild. They're finishing the rehabilitation process. So pretty soon, they're gonna be in the rainforest living totally free, which is really important for the conservation of these ecosystems right here in the tropics.
Very cool. I want to go back to something you said earlier too, which I think was really neat. You talked about the fact that they only come down out of their trees once a week or once every 2 weeks to go to the bathroom. So that's crazy. I just want to confirm that, but there were toucans calling when you were saying that. So I just want to make sure that's true.
Yeah, that's super, super, super interesting. They, as I told you, as you are saying, they only go to the bathroom once a week, twice a month when they are adults. And apart from that, they have to go to the base of the trunks. It's a big deal for them. For example, they can pee even 2 liters in just one time. So imagine that. And I mean, imagine one of these animals on the ground in the tropical rainforest in a not a very good position for predators. So probably that's one of the reasons that they decide to go just like once a week or twice a month. But when they're baby, they have to go like every day, every 2 days, every 3 days, depends on the age. And that's one of the things that they have to learn here in this rescue center.
Very cool.
In a while, the monk have to teach them the first days, the first months, how to go to the bathroom. So here we have to resemble that behavior with these orphan babies.
So you've got to help sloths do sloth potty training, basically.
Yeah, we do.
Very cool. Javi, I don't know if you're going to guide us around the center anymore, but if you'd like, I can dive in with questions from the class and then we can answer a whole bunch and learn a bit more about sloths that way. Does that work?
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent. All right. So let's dive in, guys. And if there's anything else you think of, Javi, that you want to show us, by all means, take us there as we're talking. But we're going to start with Miss Bendo's class. If you guys want to come up to kick us off, go for it. Any questions about sloths or the center?
Go ahead, try again. Are sloths in danger?
Are sloths endangered?
That's a really, really, really good question. To be honest, the two different species that we have in Costa Rica, well, they have good population numbers, fortunately, and they are not in danger. But well, nowadays, these animals are living a huge problem. And pretty much we can call that problem urbanization, okay? As I told you at the beginning, we receive a lot of these animals because they were hit by a car or they were attacked by a dog, they got electrocuted or something like that. And that's just urbanization. Apart from that, nowadays they're becoming a fairly common animal as pet. And remember that, I mean, any wild animal is a pet. They belong to the forest, they have to be free, they have to live there. So we're encouraging to people to keep these animals in the forest, not like a pet, not in a house because they don't belong to there. But fortunately, they are not in danger. There is one species that occurs only in an island in Panama. By the way, if that animal is in an island, that means that these animals are really good swimmers as well. But well, I think that one is the only three-fingered sloth, that is the three-finger pygmy sloth, that is in danger nowadays. The rest of them have good population numbers, and they are not in danger.
Excellent. Well, that's really good to hear. But as with all animals, again, you mentioned urbanization, and this is something where we just need to be vigilant about protecting habitats so that they don't become endangered in the future. Excellent. Before I go to our second live class, I want to note we've got tons of groups, over 20 watching on YouTube right now from Colorado, Connecticut, Massachusetts, BC, so many more places. You guys are already asking a ton of questions, which is great. So I'll try and take as many as possible amidst the live classes. But yeah, for now, let's go to Miss Smith-Bischoff's class. If you guys have a question, come on up.
How do you find the sloths?
Yeah, so the ones that are injured in the woods or the ones that they take into the center? Yes? Okay, excellent. Sorry. Javier, you're good to go. Yes. Did you catch that question?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, it's how do you get the sloths? How do the sloths end up in the center? Do you find them in the woods yourselves? Do people bring them to you? What
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for the question. Actually, we were together with the government. We were together with MINAI, the Environmental Ministry of Costa Rica. We can say in some way that they are like the environmental police in this country. So most of these animals are here because they found the animal. So basically, let me explain you. For example, if someone find an animal in need in Costa Rica, a wild animal, that person should call MINAI. MINAI will go for that animal, and then they're gonna decide to which rescue center they're gonna give the animal. So we work together with them.
Excellent. Awesome. Very cool. All right. So this is true of a lot of organizations, just with partners locally in government and society, with industry, whatever, where they work to help make sure that all the animals that need help end up at the rescue center. That's fantastic. All right. Miss McInnes's class. Come on up, guys.
Hi, my name's Abby. How long does sloths live?
Okay, if they're two-fingered sloths, they could live in the wild like 30 years. And if they are three-fingered sloths, they could live between 18 to 20. But when in captivity, they could live much more than that. For example, in some centers, a two-fingered sloth could be like 42, 43 years old. So imagine that. They have a long lifespan.
Yeah. All right, very cool. We're going to take a quick question from YouTube. So Miss Ui's class in Long Beach, California wants to know a bunch of things we covered early on in the presentation, but do sloths have any living creatures in their fur, Javier?
Yes, they do. They do. Well, they have first they have an algae, so that's why if you see an sloth in the wild, you will see that they have like a greenish coloration in the fur, and also they have beetles and also moths. So it's a symbiotic relationship that they have. Basically, a sloth's gonna have a defense mechanism, camouflage. Remember that they live in the trees in the canopy. So for predators, it's gonna be harder to try to find it if they are like greenish. And apart from that, they can turn the head like 180 degrees and they can lick themselves so they can get nitrogen from the algae. And well, the algae and the insects are gonna have a home to live. So it's a symbiotic relationship that they have. That's why some people say that sloths are a whole ecosystem in their fur.
Yeah, very cool. All right, let's go to Ms. Olavides' class. If you guys have one, come on up.
Hi, my name is Sydney, and what is the most in the worst injury you had with the sloth?
Yeah, so if you didn't get that, Javier, what's the worst thing that you've ever seen with a sloth? So when sloths come in injured or sick, is there anything particular that stands out as being, really unfortunate that you've seen?
Yeah, especially when they get electrocuted. The thing is that because sometimes they have to cross from one patch of forest to another one, and there are no more trees because there is an urbanization area, so they have to go to power lines. At that time, if they take two different power lines, they can get electrocuted. That's the most dangerous damage that they can receive, and that I have seen here in this rescue center. Or sometimes when they are attacked by a dog, it's another problem that they are living nowadays.
Yeah. Are you able to save sloths that are electrocuted or attacked by animals? I mean, that sounds very difficult, but have you done that before?
They're able, yeah.
Oh, wow. Very cool. All right.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. All right. Let's take another question from a group online. From Miss Pizzaelli's class, how many sloths have you rescued in total?
How many sloths we rescue in total?
Yeah.
Well, actually, to be honest, we rescue a lot of these animals. Since 2007, that was the first year that we received the first sloth here in this rescue center. We have been rescuing more than 100.
Very cool. All right, and they're from Vancouver.
And we have released more than 70 of these orphan babies that we receive into the rainforest again.
Amazing. Very cool, guys.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Miss Whipple's class. Come on up, guys.
My name is Mia, and my question is, what are sloth predators?
Yeah, what eats sloths, Javier?
Oh, that's a cool question. Well, the main predators that they have nowadays, apart from humans, I mean, like a wild predator, gonna be raptors, okay? And between the raptors, gonna be eagles. Actually, the main predators that they have are harpy eagles, the biggest eagles that occurs in the world, okay? Unfortunately, in Costa Rica, harpy eagles are in danger, critical in danger, but well, that could also be like a hawk or even a falcon. Or apart from raptors, could be wildcats like a jaguar, like an ocelot, or maybe a constrictor snake when they are babies. So yeah, their main predators are big raptors, like an eagle.
Yeah, you'd never think of something like an eagle eating something like a sloth, but there actually is some footage out there of it. It's quite astounding how large those birds can get. We've covered them in other episodes before, so I'm glad that got brought up.
Yeah, and what is interesting with that is also that harpy eagles only hunt them when they have to feed a chick. So they feed the chicks with sloths.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
All right. We've got sort of joint questions from groups online. So Miss Iavani's class in Brantford, Connecticut, and Miss Sutliff's class from Fort Collins, Colorado. They want to ask, when do sloths leave their mothers? Like, when do they go out to become adults, and how much do they weigh when they do that? Like, how big are they?
Okay, according with the first question, after the second year, remember that they get the adult life until the second year.
Oh.
And according with the second question, the average for a two-fingered sloth when they are adults is between 20 to 22 pounds. So actually, they are big, 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 big animals.
Very cool. All right. Great answer. Let's dive in with Miss Thiessen's class. If you guys have one, come on up.
Come on, Lean, pop up.
Hi, my name is Lean, and I'm wondering if a sloth's fur is rough or soft.
Is the fur rough or soft, Javier?
Yeah, good question. Well, when they're babies, it's really, 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 really soft. When they are adults, it's totally the opposite. But well, according with that, I want to take advantage of this. I want to tell you that in this rescue center, we try to don't touch these animals as much as possible, because remember that they're gonna be released. So we don't want that they get used to people. And apart from that, again, they are wild animals, so they don't like to be touched by humans. But yeah, when they're babies, it's very soft. When they are adults, because they have the algae and the insects, and they live in the rainforest, it's totally the opposite.
Very cool. All right. Let's head to Miss Damianakos' class, the last of our first round of questions with live classes. Come on up, guys.
Why do sloths move so slow when they're climbing trees?
Yeah, why are they so slow? I'm surprised it took that long to get to that question. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. Well, pretty much it's because their main diet are just leaf. And also it's because they try to save energy as much as possible, okay? But believe me, when they have to fight or when they have to swing, they are much, 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 much faster than this. So they can be fast if they want, but they try to save energy as much as possible. Remember that they don't need too much protein. So they are pretty much herbivorous animals, so they try to save the energy, yeah.
Very cool. Thanks so much. All right, Miss Lindsay's class in Anchorage, Alaska wants to know how many babies can one sloth have at a time, and then how many can they have over a lifetime? So in one litter, how many babies, and then over the whole life?
Okay, yeah, the first question, well, just one baby per time, but remember that sometimes they can have twins. But again, when they have twins, the mother gonna reject one of the babies because the baby has to spend like 4 or 5 months clinging on the mother, and then on to the second year with her. So it's a lot of work for her. So she decided to abandon one of the babies. So natural selection, basically. The second question was, sorry, can you repeat the second question?
Yeah, over a whole lifetime. One or two at a time, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's really interesting because they start to breed after the 5-6 years, and they live between 30-35 years old. So they can have like 5-6 babies in the whole life.
Very cool. All right. Let's dive in back with another round of questions. So I'm going to go to Miss Bendo's class first. If you guys want to come on up, go for it.
Why do the babies have to go in the bin when they're little?
Did you catch that, Javier?
Can you repeat it, please?
Yeah. So why do you have the babies in the bin?
These little guys, because they're tiny, tiny, tiny babies. Remember that in the wild, they should be clinging on the mother. So at this age, they are not used to climb around the trees. So when they get older, they're gonna be in the trees. But by now, they prefer to stay pretty much like in this position, like clinging and the mother. And because here they are in captivity, well, we decide to put it in a bucket.
Perfect. Just like we put babies in cribs, we put the sloths in a bucket. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Smith Bischoff's class. Come on up, guys.
Is it hard to get them back to their home?
Yeah, so that's a good question. When you re-release them, Javier, is it hard to get them back to the forest, or is it easy? Do you just walk outside and put them there? How does it happen?
Well, actually, it depends on each slot. It's a whole process. It's a 2-year process. Before we release them, we put it in a pre-release enclosure that is inside a forest. So when they get ready, when they feel comfortable, and after the whole rehabilitation process, we just open a door that is in the upper side of the enclosure. And again, when they feel comfortable, they can go and be free. And also, if they don't feel comfortable, they can come back because the pre-release enclosure is in the same forest. And remember that we track them together with the Sloth Institute. So when we see that they are not presenting at a good behavior or that we can change something, we catch them again and we try to fix that, and then we release them into the wild again.
Excellent. All right. I want to take this question just because Miss Sebring's class and Miss Gonzalez's class from Connecticut and Massachusetts, respectively, they want to know, what do sloths eat, and is there a favorite food they have?
Okay, perfect. So between 2 fingers and 3 finger sloths, there is a difference in the diet. Remember that 3 finger sloths, well, they are like vegans. They only eat leaf, okay? They only eat leaf. So they are completely 100% herbivores animals, okay? But 2 finger sloths, well, they can eat leaf, they can eat fruits, they can eat an insect that is in the leaf or in the fruit. And also they love to eat eggs. They go to bird nests and they predate those animals. So they eat the eggs. So these ones, the 2 finger sloths, need to eat protein. So that's the difference that they have. Apart from that, well, they can eat different species of trees. According with scientific research, they can eat more than 100 different species. But well, each sloth have like their 10 favorite trees. So each mom gonna teach to the baby their 10 favorite trees. So it's like a culture behavior, you know, like a tradition for them, for the family.
Yeah, excellent. All right. Ms. McKinnis' class, come on back up, guys.
My name is Sawyer, and what was the question? How can we help the sloths?
Excellent question. Thanks so much, Sawyer. So yeah, how can we help the sloths, Javier? What can we do?
Yeah, perfect. Probably that's the best question. Okay, thank you so much. Well, how can we help the sloths? Remember that all is connected, and apart from that, in the States you don't have sloths. Well, all is connected, so all is nature. So you can recycle, you can plant trees, you can teach to your little friends about how to conserve these animals, how to conserve the nature. So even in your garden, even in your house, you can do some activity that will help them.
Yeah. And then, as I said,
Remember that all is connected. All is connected.
yeah, helping habitat, and this is something we come to in all our conservation sessions, like doing, the simplest things, packing a litterless lunch, taking reusable containers, being concerned about climate change, taking a bike, walking to school, like all those things make a huge difference. And then directly, I know Javier is not going to say it, but toucanrescueranch.org, really fantastic stuff. You can check it out there. We'll pass it to our classes at the end as well. All right.
Apart from that, sorry. Apart from that, I want to say that
Yeah.
it's very, very, very important that everybody all around the world never support those places that allow that people go there and take selfies with the animals, or that adopt an animal like directly, like to handle an animal in the hands, because that's not good for them. Remember that they are not pets. So don't support the illegal pet trade. The wild animals belong to the jungle, belong to the nature, to the forest, and they have to be there. So that's really, really important too.
Yeah, National Geographic had a whole issue, a major article on that, actually. The fact that if you go to places and you see places where you can take a picture of an animal on your head or pet something, don't. It's usually not very good for the animal. It's almost never good for the animal. And so try and avoid that sort of thing. There are other ways to interact with animals and see amazing facilities like this, where they're really doing a great deal of good to conserve them without allowing people to necessarily touch them, because they're wild animals and they don't want that sort of interaction. Thanks so much for bringing that up, Javier. All right,
Yeah.
Alarides class, if you guys have another question, come on up.
Hi, my name is Sebastian, and then the question is, what are the different types of sloths, if there is any different types?
Yeah, so you sort of covered this at the beginning, Javier, but how many types of sloths are there? Are there different kinds of sloths? I know you have a couple at the center, but what is out there?
Perfect. So there are 6 different species of sloths. Okay, 4 of them are 2 finger sloths, and 3 of them are 3 finger sloths. Okay, so we have 6 different species, and they occur from Mexico to South America. But again, here in Costa Rica, we only have 2-fingered sloths, Coleopus hoffmanni, and 3-fingered sloths, Bradypus variegatus.
Excellent. All right. Let me take a couple questions from YouTube really quick. So Mr. Kizwano's class wants to ask, do sloths live in groups or are they just individuals in trees by themselves?
They are completely solitary animals. They never get together. They don't like to be in packs. So you will always see just a single sloth. If you see 2, you're gonna be very, very lucky because it's gonna be the monk with a baby, or maybe because it's the female with a male breeding. But it's really hard to see that. So pretty much they're completely solitary animals.
Very cool. There's some great footage for classes I urge you to check out. In Planet Earth 2, they have a sloth trying to get to another sloth, and it's quite the amazing series. I'll see if I can find it on YouTube when we're done. All right, we've had a bunch of questions from groups on YouTube. I can't even go through the number of teachers that have mentioned it because there are so many. But what is the deal with the sloth's claws? Do they use them to defend themselves? How do they use them? What's going on?
Okay, yeah, actually, as I told you some minutes ago, well, these animals, when they want to be fast, they can be really, really fast, especially when they have to fight. They are really good fighters. When they fight, they can use the claws, okay? And they're very strong animals, very aggressive. And again, they could be really, really fast. So they can hit you with the claws, or also they can bite you, okay? They have very pointed sharp tips. And also they have a lot of bacteria in their mouth because they don't have enamel in the teeth. So, for example, if you try to get one of these animals as a pet and they bite you, you can get a really, really, really bad infection.
Yeah, so try not to get bit by a sloth. That's the key. A terrible Halloween.
Yeah.
All right. Miss Whipple's class, come on up, guys.
My name is Roscoe. How do they change to survive?
How do they change to survive?
Yeah.
Like throughout their lifetime or how?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Throughout the many years.
yeah, so Javier, as sloths get older, are there ways that they adapt to become better at surviving in their forest habitat?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so is there things that they develop? Is there things you see with older sloths that they do better than baby sloths or younger sloths? Are they better at staying in the tree? Are they better at finding food? Anything like that?
Yeah, well, it's whole evolution, natural selection, basically. So they are getting adapted to the new habitats.
Excellent. So yes, and that's true of most animals. As things get older, they become more effective and efficient, as you guys will discover when you get to be as old as your teachers. It's nice to be able to navigate the world a little more easily and not have to live in a bucket. All right, Miss Teason's class, come on up, guys.
How do sloths communicate with each other?
How do sloths communicate with each other, Javier?
Okay, perfect. Well, remember that they don't have a good vision, they don't have a good hearing, but they have an excellent sense of smell. So pretty much they communicate each other by smells. Sometimes 3-fingered sloths, when they have to breathe, well, the female do like a kind of whistle, so the male can hear that and then they can breathe. But basically, it's pretty much by smells. Sometimes when they get together, when they have to breathe, they lick each other, the noses, and that's the communication that they have. Apart from that, they don't communicate too much each other because remember that they're completely solitary animals.
Yeah, excellent. All right, I'm going to take 2 more quick questions from YouTube before we wrap up with Miss Damianakis' class. So first, for Miss Dell's class, how much sleep does a sloth need? How long are sloths sleeping during the day, Javier?
Okay, basically they sleep between 10 to 15 hours per day. When they're not sleeping, they're eating, and that's all. Sometimes they do exercise, sometimes they climb around, but when they're babies, they sleep between 10 to 15 hours per day.
Very cool. All right, so a little bit more than you guys are, but we're like double. Sometimes you might want to sleep that much, but not usually allowed. All right, one of my favorite questions from a group on YouTube. So Miss Isley's class wanted to ask, what's your favorite part about working at the center, Javier?
Well, my favorite part working here is that we can work in conservation, we can do something for Mother Nature, and this is the most important that we can do like humans beings nowadays. Remember, all is conservation. Whatever you do, whatever you study, whatever is your profession, please always, always, always keep in mind that conservation, the protection of nature. So this is really, 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 really cool. And I also share with people like you that are interested in these animals, that are interested in nature. That's the most important for me.
Outstanding. I'm so happy to hear that. Thanks so much. And all right, one more last question was Damian Ackles' class. If you guys want to wrap us up, come on up.
Come on up. Yep, here we are.
What was the noise in the background at the starting of the video? Were the sloths making the noise?
Yeah, so it was great question. It was really loud at the beginning of the video, Javier. You had other animals that were calling. Were it sloths or what was
Oh
calling?
yeah, here actually, actually here we are surrounded by macaws. We have a couple of green great macaws, and also we have some scarlet macaws and parrots and parakeets. They are really, 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 really loud. So probably was that.
Yeah, so very cool. So some big, beautiful birds, guys. And I'll try and send a picture of one of those when you're done so you can check out a scarlet macaw, but they're one of the most beautiful animals on earth. Javier, this has been fantastic. Before we wrap up, you've already mentioned a whole bunch about how people can conserve sloths, but is there anywhere they can go to learn more about the work that you guys are doing about sloths in general? Anywhere we want to guide kids before they're done?
Yeah, sure. I mean, everybody contact us, can contact the Toucan Rescue Ranch, Costa Rica, and you can get more information. You can visit us. You can be a volunteer. You can adopt an animal, like a symbolic adopt. You can help us. You can help these animals as well. So I invite you to contact the Toucan Rescue Ranch.
Yeah, outstanding. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Javier, what we do at the end of every presentation, I'm going to demute everyone's microphone in a second. So boys and girls, if you guys could get ready to join me in saying a huge thank you to Javier and the Rescue Ranch for joining us today. You are all now demuted. Go for it. Thank you so much. It's crazy. It's Halloween. It's the best day ever. All right. Thank you guys so much to all our classes for joining us during Halloween and during our awesome month of October with so many sessions. We really appreciate you guys being involved. Thanks again for being a part of our Toucan Rescue Ranch session. And I'll pass along some more information when we're done. Javier, thanks so much for joining us today.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for support this kind of rescue centers. And well, here we are. Let's protect the nature.
Outstanding. And with that, we'll leave it there with a beautiful sloth to leave it. Have a nice